Hello, welcome to my channel. This is the channel where I share the good and the bad of my experience. And today I was a little discombobulated. I won't say it was bad, but it was difficult. I bought the wrong canvas size to start off with. I bought an 8 by 10 instead of a 9 by 12, and that throws me off. I like to paint with big brushes, and a smaller canvas doesn't really accommodate that so easily. And here, by the way, I'm painting my background. I used different colors for my background than I usually do. I was just totally out of whack today, but I thought I'd show it to you anyway. It didn't turn out too badly. I forgot where I put my blending brushes, which I tied it around recently, and that's not a good thing for me to do. And so I had to use my flat just to sweep across the canvas and get some sort of order to it. Here I'm using a liner brush and raw sienna, and I'm just going to put in the shapes of the roses and the location of them on the canvas. And I did that slightly differently to usual, but it turned out okay. I decided to show you this painting because I figured it didn't turn out too badly, and you can get to that point if you persevere, which I did, thankfully. I'm doing 3 roses, a bud, a single bud, and a few leaves. Leaves come in groups of 3 on roses, and they're quite small leaves too. And here, I don't know whether it was the temperature. It was a little bit warmer this morning, and the paint is transparent to start off with. I did not mix it with titanium. I'm using alizarin crimson, and I think the background was still quite wet, and that came through too. So I wasn't happy with that part of the painting either. I ended up mixing some white in it and trying to get an opaque background to the rose blooms. But here you can see I'm putting in the first petals. I use a 3/4 inch flat to put in these petals. And I pull in the large ones furthest away from us first. For the petals, we only see the tops of. I just do a sideways stroke. Here I'm putting in the small petals, and there's a sideways stroke indicating those petals that we see the top and a little bit of the back, but we don't see the full petal. And so I just use this sideways swipe to show the top of the petal for that. I should have decided where the light was coming from sooner in this painting, and then I could have arranged the flowers to be different, slightly different shades, but I didn't, and they all ended up the same shade, a mass of petals. Couldn't really tell which one was which flower, and you'll see as we go on, it just looks like a sea of petals. Once I decided on the direction of the light and got 3 slightly different colors, I got 3 individual roses, and the painting turned out better than, the painting turned out all right. And you'll see as we go on. At this point, they all look pretty much the same. I use a liner brush and sap green to reinforce the stems. I like to get a lot of color into my stems, and I generally use alizarin crimson in there as well, or I make an orange for a highlight, or I use French ultramarine blue for a shadow. You can get quite a lot of color into a stem. Here, as you can see, it's a sea of petals. You can't really tell which petals belong to which flower. There's only a slight indication that they're facing in different directions. And this is where I make that decision because I had to. I had to decide where the light was going to hit, and I had to make those flowers individual blooms. So I was forced into it, but generally I make that decision as soon as I've got my mid-tone down. And when I'm painting roses in particular, and I like to face my roses in all individual directions, I make that decision before I start to paint. But I didn't today. Like I say, I was totally discombobulated. I made the rose on the left a darker pink, and that helps with making them more individual. And then I decided to make the one on the left a sort of yellowy color. And I didn't like it when I had done it, but I didn't want to change it. And in the overall painting at the very end, I thought it looked quite nice, so I would leave it. And then I made a correction to that lower right hand one in that I had put a highlight on the petals and I didn't think it looked right. So I went back in when I remembered I've got a lovely pink and I put that on there. And it's the very last picture you see. So hang in there for that and let me know what you think in the comments. But I think it made all the difference putting that pink in as a highlight. Here's where I added cadmium red to the palette to try and do something with that lower right hand side, and I think I improved it. I was happy with the final outcome at any rate. Cadmium red is not my favorite color for roses. I like something a little deeper and or paler, but and that cadmium red seems too harsh a color. But anyway, I used it on today's Why Not? It's not going that great anyway. So, and here's where I put on that highlight, which I think did not fit. And then I used a Q-tip and put in these stamens. And then I used raw sienna to put on top to add a little highlight, not a bright highlight, just a little something. I also added a highlight to the lit side of the leaves. I felt that it wasn't bright enough, and I think that improved the whole thing. This is not my favorite painting of roses that I've done, but it didn't turn out too badly, and I'm okay with it. Um, I don't think I will. I don't think I'll put it in my Etsy shop, but it's okay. It'll go in the pile in the corner. Today I put the veins on the leaves. I quite often don't do that. I usually leave it to the brush stroke to define the sort of lobes of a leaf without adding anything else. But today I thought this painting needed help. That was how I was feeling. I don't think it really did. I don't think it's as bad as I'm whining about, so don't listen to me too deeply. Don't take it to heart. I think the top two roses are quite nice. But at this stage, I keep fiddling around with that lower right hand side one. I'm just not happy with it. It's not looking rose like for me, and I keep thinking about it and going back to it, which is sometimes not a good thing because you can overwork part of a painting. But then I get this brilliant idea of getting out this really bright pink paint, and I changed it, and here it is. And I think it looks a lot better. I'm I'm okay with this painting. I will say I will go so far as to say it's an okay painting. It's not my best. But I hope you like it, and thank you very much for watching if you got this far. And please like and subscribe, and I'll see you with my next painting, which I hope will be better. Bye for now.